Sometimes I wonder how old I'm gonna get, how old I'm gonna grow to be. If I'm lucky, I haven't even lived half my life yet, but at the same time, to consider myself lucky, I think I need to make some major life changes because I have been somewhere between miserable and wonderful for a long time, kind of bouncing between for quite a while. I need to make some changes. You know, I'm too young to be so nostalgic, so reminiscent of my even younger days, my youth, which is not very far away. You know, I'm nostalgic over days that happened like 5 years ago, 4 years ago. You know, my golden years were not far behind me, and yet I feel so reminiscent of those days. I feel so far gone from those days back in like high school and growing up in general, I suppose. You know, I used to be really excited to grow up. I used to really want to get not necessarily old, but older because I felt like I would get freedom and I would be, I don't know, I thought things would be different, I guess. And obviously things change as you get older. You know, you don't get treated like a little kid anymore. I've learned more about my parents in my 20s than I ever thought I would. You know, they start sharing more stories and talking about their lives and the things they've been through, etc., etc. So obviously things have changed, and some things have gotten better. I definitely have more freedom than I once did. You know, I'm grown now. You know, people can't really tell me what I am allowed to and not to do, things like that. But at the same time, growing up has been pretty terrible. It's not been it's not been everything I hoped for, to say the least. You know, yeah, I suppose it just happens with age. It just happens with time. People change, people grow, and I suppose it's my own change that has led me to be miserable, or maybe a lack of change in some parts that has led me to be miserable because I, like I said, I'm so reminiscent on the past that's not even really that far away. Reminiscent on days that are, like I sound like a broken record, but nostalgic over days that are barely gone. Barely any time has passed, barely a few years, sure. And yet I feel like it's been ages. I feel like it's been so long. I want to go back to those days that, I mean, for one, really weren't even all that special. Things were not that different from then to now. I mean, that's not entirely true. It is and it isn't. I feel like I've grown as a person in some capacities. At the same time, I feel like I've regressed a lot since these days I claim to miss so badly. These days I claim to want to go back to so badly. Yet, for what? What do I want to return to the past for? You know, there's a reason I left the things I left behind. There's a reason I changed the way I am, and some things I didn't change because it needed to change or it was time for it to change. And this whole idea has stemmed from me missing my friends again. I never can seem to come to terms with the fact that I just don't really have any friends left anymore as I've gotten older. We've grown apart, and sometimes I get really sad about it, as I feel like you should. You know, you miss people, you get sad about it. It's normal, but at the same time, it's weird. It's weird to miss them because somewhere in my mind, I know that it was just meant to be. You know, things changed, times changed. We all grew up and we all moved on and grew apart. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles. You know, that's just the way life goes. Things are not going to be one way forever as much as you hope and try. And I mean, I can recount many, many, many times, many, many conversations where we'd all promised that we were never going to lose contact and that once we got out of high school, it wasn't going to change anything. We were going to stay best friends like we always have been. We weren't going to let anything get in the way of that. No distance, no time, no nothing. Getting out of school, going to college, whatever we decided to do didn't matter. We were best friends forever. We were going to stay that way. And, well, I wouldn't be making this video if that was the truth. We didn't stay best friends forever. We tried for a while. Some of us better than others. Well, I should say some of them better than me, because I'm really the one that let it all go for the most part. I mean, my friends stayed friends with each other without me, which was good. But once I had to get a job and start working and things, I didn't have the energy to keep up with friends anymore. I felt like I had to move on. I had to do different things with my life. I had to get a job, get money, you know, continue building whatever I'd hoped to make of my life. Honestly, it's probably the worst decision I ever made. I'm being like completely transparent. It was a terrible idea. I should have just stayed goofing off, hanging out, and enjoying my time while I have it. But I thought I was doing the smart thing or the responsible thing, or I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. I really must not have been because I have left myself with some sort of regret. And it's not like, I don't know. I say some sort of regret because it's like if I could go back and change it, I don't know if I would. I made the right decisions for me at the time. I couldn't just goof off forever. I did have to take some kind of responsibility and take some sort of initiative towards my life and where I wanted it to go and whatever I wanted to do. And my friends didn't really have that same mindset or that same driving factor, I suppose. I'm not sure. And I don't want to say that in any way to like down talk them or say like, yeah, they were just a bunch of losers. Like that's not the case. We all just had a lot of different stuff going on and we were at different points of our lives. And for me, it was a point that I just had to go. I had to stop. I had to do things differently. I had to take a different pathway or whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to chalk it up to. It was the way it was meant to be, I suppose. And so it's hard for me to say that I regret it because it's not so much of a regret as I realize it was just, like I said, it's just what had to happen. It's how it had to be. And it sucks. It really does suck. You know, I'm very lonely sometimes. Decent amount of time, I should say, because I don't really have anybody. I don't have a lot of people to talk to. I really don't like this, but also don't want to make a bigger window because I think that would look worse. Maybe. Anywho, at least the sheep cooperate. They're not trying to. Oh, well, I spoke too soon. I don't know. It's. It is what it is, you know? Like, I kind of get mad at myself because I feel like if I was this bothered or if I was this lonely or whatever you want to chalk it up to, I would do more about it. I would go and make friends again or try to reconnect with my friends that I did have at one point or something, you know? But as I keep saying, times just change. People grow, people change. We all grow up, and I just am not sure anymore. I'm not sure if, even if we did reconnect, I'm not sure it's what we should do. I'm not sure if it's the people that I really need to be around anymore, you know. And not to say that they're bad people. I love my friends dearly. I'll always love them, you know, and I'll always consider them my best friends. They're great people. They always have been great people. It's more just me. It's more just, I'm not sure if I'm at a point in my life or a position in my life that I feel like I need, or maybe deserve would be a better word, that I, and that's kind of stupid. Everybody deserves friends and everybody needs friends for that matter. Like, don't listen to my justifications of my isolation and apply them to yourself. You should have friends and you should keep your friends if you have your friends. You should cherish every moment you have with them while you do, because you never know when that's gonna go. You know, people die all the time. It's other terrible things. I mean, simply just growing apart, like the case of me and my friends. Just times can change and people won't be around forever. So you should cherish everybody you have and make it known that you cherish them. You know, I like to think I did a good job of that, but I just feel like in my own personal life, my own personal situation, that I needed to be better. I needed to be a better, not necessarily a better person, but just a more complete person. I needed to be more put together. My head's always been kind of a mess as I've gotten older. It's not really gotten better. It comes and goes, I should say, as many people's mental health does, you know. There's good days and there's bad days and etc., etc., etc. But for a while, it definitely felt like the bad days outweighed the good ones. And just lots of contributing factors that led me to, I guess, make the decision that I made. It was kind of a subconscious decision. I didn't actively, you know, like go and tell all my friends that I hate them and I don't ever want to talk to them again or anything like that. It was more just I stopped responding. I stopped making plans. I stopped being available. Things like that. You know, I kind of just drifted apart and separated myself, distanced myself because I needed to, or I felt like I needed to. I felt like I needed a change or a difference or a break, or I needed something. I don't know. I still don't have that answer, and sometimes I feel guilty about it because I miss them dearly. I miss all my friends dearly. I don't really even know what's up with any of them anymore. The last I heard, one of them moved away, and one of them's got like a streaming career going on now. And I don't know, things are so different than they used to be. You know, we're all grown. We all have our own lives going on, and that's not really a bad thing by any means. That's kind of always been the goal, right? It's kind of always been the dream that we'd all have our own stuff figured out, have our own situations, and still be able to come together and be friends, but that's just not the way it unfolded. And that sucks. I guess I guess I just have a hard time accepting that sometimes, or a lot of time still, because even when it's partially or mostly my own fault, at least in my own situation, you know, I'm the one that chose to, like I said, I chose to stop responding. I chose to stop hanging out. It's my own fault. And so I feel guilty about it, but I did it to myself. And so I feel undeserving to reach out or anything of that sort, I guess, or try to make new friends, or I don't know. I, I sit here and I bounce these ideas through my head and try to figure out which one seems to explain me the most or make the most sense to my own head, you know? because it's like it's kind of a mix of everything and a mix of how I ended up in this loneliness or isolation that I've brought myself to every day, trying to just figure it out, put the pieces together a little more, like assembling a puzzle of my own head to figure out why I have self-sabotaged and made myself so miserable some days for no good reason. Maybe I will eventually find a concrete answer or a solid answer as to why I am the way that I am, why I do the stupid things I do, or continue the stupid behaviors. But I don't know. Right now, I suppose right now it is part of the concern, you know, trying to make a change in my life and fix my mental health so that maybe I feel deserving of friendship again or feel needing of friendly comfort or I guess just friendship again in general, you know. And I don't know. I don't know where to start. I don't know how to try to fix this problem of my brain. I suppose just reaching out to people, talking to people in general would be a good first step, but I guess I just have this fear that the same things will happen, you know, even if I do make new friends that are, you know, I don't know, just new friends in general, new best friends, new friends, whatever, that it just will just grow apart. I'll just distance myself. I don't know what to call it. Like just lose it, lose the spark or the connection or something. I wish I could pinpoint what exactly it is that changes in my head that drives me away or pushes me away or what have you. And granted, it's not always been the case. And, you know, some friends, I guess that's been the case for my real life friends as I push them away or I distance myself or whatever. And I don't know why. It's not like I enjoy it. I guess maybe part of me does. Is why I continue to do it or not influence it, but whatever. Just continue these self-sabotaging behaviors of forceful loneliness. Maybe I do enjoy it. Maybe I do enjoy being alone more than anything else. But I don't know. If I do, I sure as hell don't seem like it because it's lonely and I miss my friends. Thanks for listening. I love you. Have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.